Good afternoon, Fit Fam. This is Stefan, and in today's video, I'll be explaining how you can set attainable goals as you begin to venture down either your fitness or your developmental journey. And if you want to continue to progress, having goals will help to aid you and give you key marker points so that you know not only that you're making progress, but it gives you something to look forward to. And it helps to give you a sense of not just tangible progress, but in something where you can look back on in the data and the information. And now when you begin to face roadblocks further down in either your fitness or development journey, now you'll know from previous experiences what you need to do in order to continue to have success. So one of the biggest things and things I've seen with individuals in the fitness space is that even though a lot of individuals will have goals or they'll develop a goal, a lot of times the goals are very lofty. And there's nothing wrong with having a high expectation or having high goals, shoot for the stars, land on the moon. But when the goals aren't realistic in a short-term perspective, then a lot of times you have the end of the road and then you have a dark sea kind of in front of you. And in order for you to even take a step forward, you're like, okay, I have the end point, but currently right here, there's like 16 miles before I even get there. Your mind can't begin to formulate the pathway. So when you are setting goals, not only making sure they are realistic, but in making sure that they're definitive in terms of you're actually going to hit each goal. At first, you want to have a major goal, one major goal. So we're starting off with one major goal, and then from that major goal, you're going to have tiny goals within that major goal. So, for example, I have a life's vision and a life's mission, and so I've looked towards the end of my life and what do I want that to look like, and then from there, I go back in time into the present moment. And so what you want to do is, let's say your goal is, I want to lose 20 pounds, right? And for a lot of individuals, losing 20 pounds is an extremely, it's a commendable goal, but it requires a journey of not just exercise, but also self-improvement as well. And so what a lot of these individuals will have happen is they'll begin to walk down the pathway towards that goal, and then halfway through they'll hit a roadblock or they'll hit a setback. And they're like, hey man, I set this goal, I have my why, I have my purpose, but I can't, the goal's so far off that it's hard for them to maintain themselves for that long. They need a little checklist along the way to kind of help aid them. And so while you have that main goal, you want some secondary goals that you can hit along the way so that you continue to stay positive and upbeat and motivated as you get and stack up the W's towards the bigger goals. And so let's say, for example, you want to write a book, and this can be used in a whole bunch of different realms. So let's say, example, you want to write a book, and let's say and you want to write a book that's 50,000 words. And so instead of sitting down and be like, all right, we're going to write a 50,000 word book. No, you break it down. Okay, let's get to 500 words. Okay, let's formulate a title. Okay, let's complete one chapter. And so now when you begin to hit these mini goals, they kind of help to propel you forward. It's like, let's say you're playing Mario Kart. You know, in Mario Kart, you got the long, big race, right? But along the racetrack, a lot of times you'll have those little like multicolored lines where you can go through and kind of propel you forward, give you a little boost. That's kind of what the mini goals will act as. The mini goals will act as those little boosts on your during your race as you try to complete and be ultimately you want to win. So if you want to win, having those little boosts along the way will help propel you a lot forward, even when times get tough and difficult. Even and we'll stick with the Mario Kart example. Even Mario Kart, even if you hit the what's it called, the quicksand, and you're starting to sink, if you have that little boost will take you through that quicksand. So this can be very impactful for the individual because they won't get so tied up in the minutia of just locking in on this one goal. So let's say, for example, that you're trying to lose 30 pounds. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's say, okay, I want to successfully formulate one habit. And let's say the habit you decide to formulate is, I want to stop drinking soda. That's the first habit you decide to work on. So from the time you start, you have your end goal of losing 30 pounds, but you also have a secondary goal of you just want to stop drinking soda. And so let's say 3 weeks go by. And let's say 3 weeks go by and you've only lost 5 pounds. You're like, man, I've only lost 5 pounds. But let's say you've managed to kick the habit of drinking soda. Hey, man, I might not have gotten to the 30 pounds, but at the very least, I'm not drinking soda. So that's a W right there. And so what will happen is a lot of individuals, what we as human beings tend to do is when we want something and we desire something, we'll lock on to that one thing and everything else will kind of fall to the wayside. But what you want to do is you want to begin to open your eyes, open your awareness to the other opportunities that are around you that can help you get towards success. So let's say, for example, you're trying to build a business, and let's say you don't have a lot of connections, and you're sitting here like, man, I'm making phone calls, I'm in groups, I'm doing all this stuff, and I can't really make any headway. Well, let's say you decide to do some outreach. Let's say you go to local community centers. Let's say you go to seminars and things like that. Now you create a goal. Hey, I'm gonna do one outreach a day. Boom, you might get a business card, you might meet someone along, as you're walking down the street, and now boom, now you got a connection. Small W. So instead of thinking so much, okay, I just have to have these big, extremely, super off the wall goals, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. No, you also want to have those secondary goals because they'll help you out. Like many people say, and this is kind of cliche, but it's very, very, very true. Rome wasn't built in a day. And you want to lay not only the foundation, but the foundation is very important. But after the foundation, you have to build the rest of the kingdom. And so that takes time, and it happens brick by brick. And so when let's say you're building Rome, hey man, you gotta build a cathedral, you gotta build all this other stuff. Like you gotta start with, okay, I'm gonna build the outer wall. Cool. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna build the palace. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna build housing for people. You see how, all right, cool. And then over time, you look up and you're like, oh man, we got a kingdom right here. So it's beginning to look at going down the road towards those bigger goals, not necessarily as a journey, because it is a journey, but also more so that along the way, you're building other things along the way as well. You're not just building one aspect of one thing. There's other things that will be built as you get towards the success within that goal. Because a lot of times, whatever goal you have, it's going to require you to grow as a human being. And if you do not grow as a human being, then you won't be able to obtain that goal. So let's say, for example, we'll stick with you want to lose 30 pounds. Okay, cool. You want to lose 30 pounds. But the person you are now might not be the person who's able to get to the goal of being able to lose 30 pounds. So there might have to be a shift in the type of person you are in order for you not only to get to the goal of having lost 30 pounds, but also to sustain that. And so, again, the small goal of, okay, I just want to kick the habit of drinking sodas. Okay, then you're like, okay, cool, I want to begin to track my nutrition. That can be your next goal. Okay, boom. Okay, now I want to begin to track my workouts. So the more you have smaller attainable goals and more clearly defined goals, it will help to boost you forward as you get towards that bigger goal that you want. I remember when I first started fitness, and I was in a very dark place, and I just wanted to grow and develop myself. That was all I wanted, because I was so broken as a human being that all I wanted to see was, when I looked in the mirror, I wanted to see something completely different. And so every time I return to the mirror, this is my one goal. I just want to respect the person that I see in the mirror. And that mirror is a motherfucker. Excuse my language, but that mirror is a motherfucker. That mirror will not lie to you. You can, even if you look wonderful, you take your shirt off, you take your clothes off, and you got a banging body. If you look yourself in the eyes while you're looking at the mirror, that'll tell you everything you need to know about yourself as a human being. You cannot run from the mirror. The mirror will not lie to you. But don't be scared of what the mirror is telling you. Use the mirror as a guide to, almost like a checkpoint. Use the mirror as a guide. And what the mirror will give you is a reality check. And so this will help you in beginning to create more of those smaller goals and to see, okay, what exactly should those goals be? You know, maybe it's like, okay, like, hey man, I'm letting my hygiene kind of go to the wayside. That's a small goal while I work on these bigger goals. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little fluffy. Let me work on that. Maybe I'm not connecting with other human beings as much as I should be. Let me work on that. And so this will help get you down the pathway towards those longer term goals. If you found this a lot value, click like, click subscribe. I'll continue to release more videos helping individuals get down their fitness and development journey, as well as giving people tools, skills, and the methods necessary in order to not only discover, but develop self. You guys stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your day.